All right, welcome to the video that goes over our very first quiz on lessons 1.1 through 1.6. Number 1, complete the sequence. Multiply the previous term by 3 and then add 5. So this is where the sequence is written out in words. So we have 4 times 3 would be 12 plus 5 is 17. So the next term is 17. You multiply by 3, you get 51 plus 5. So it'd be 56. And then the numbers just get bigger. So multiply by 3, add 5. Your next answer should be 173, followed by 524. And then it just keeps going forever. I haven't made a video on this iPad for a while, so my handwriting will get better as we go. The next thing we're supposed to do is we're supposed to write the recursive formula for question number 1. So it's the previous term times 3. Notice there's the first term, and then we start the n greater than 2 because we're going after the first term for second term, third term, fourth term. Remember, n are whole numbers, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just goes in whole numbers. So it's the previous term. That's the f of n minus 1. And what do we do with it? That's right. We multiply it by 3. So we put a 3 in the front. And then we just put add 5 plus 5. And that does that. Growth factor. This is not arithmetic sequence because notice it's not going down by the same amount. It's potentially geometric. In fact, when it says growth factor or the common ratio, that means that it is geometric. So what you do is you divide backwards through it. So you just ratio these. So you take like 81 and divide it by 90 on the calculator, and that should be equal to 90 divided by 100 on the calculator, or you can even do the decimals, 65.61 divided by 72.9, whatever makes you happy. Divide those out, and it's all going to be 9/10 or 0.9. So 0.9 is the growth factor. All right, now we're going to write out the recursive formula for this. So we know that the growth formula is 9/10 by dividing backwards through the sequence, one number or the two numbers at a time. So we just put that in front. We're multiplying, right, by 9/10 to the previous term, n minus 1. All right, so and that takes care of it right there. So we're going to go to the next one here. This does look a little bit blurry on my screen, so you'll have to squint to get it back into focus again. All right, complete the sequence 2 different ways, then state the rule for your sequence. So you can do any kind of thing that you want to here, but I was kind of going after arithmetic and geometric, so I'll just do the 2 basic. So notice this is going up by 3, so we just do 8, 11, 14, etc. So my rule would be add how much? 3. Then I could make it geometric. Well, how do I make it geometric? I got to multiply by the same number over and over again. So to figure that out, we divide backwards through the sequence. Well, there's not very many numbers there, so I just do 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5. So we're going to multiply by 2.5 every time. And that would give me, so you just do 2, you would do 2 times 2.5, right? And that's going to give you 5. And then you would do 5 times 2.5, right? So if you had, if you're giving 5 people $2.50, that would be $12.50. So 12.5. So that'd be the next term. So it'd be 12.5. Then you just, on the calculator, multiply by 2.5 again. And I would get 31.25 and then 78.125. So that would be multiply by 2.5. Now you could do some of the sequences that we've talked about. You could do it another way. You could say, okay, I'm going to multiply by 2, add 1. Multiply by 2, add 1. So then it'd be 11 would be next, right? So you multiply by 2, add 1. Multiply by 2, add 1. So it'd be 23, and it would go on from there. So that would be another way to do it. You can multiply by 2 and add 1. So that takes care of the first page. Okay, now we go to the second page, and it says, write the first 5 terms of the sequence based on the recursive formula. So on the first page, it gave us a rule, and we had to, follow along here. And then, or make the sequence. Now we have the formula and we just have to write it out. So notice f of 1 equals 2. That tells me the first number in the sequence, so it's 2. And then it's just simply adding 4. So 6, 10, 14, 18. Very simple, just adding 4 at a time. All right, now we have a geometric sequence. I can tell because I'm multiplying by the same number, multiplying by 0.75, 0.75, which is like multiplying by the fraction 3/4. So basically it's going down 25% and 75% is being kept there. That's one way to think about it. So again, my first term's right there, so I write 1600. And then I just multiply by 3/4, multiply by 3/4, multiply by 3/4, over and over again on the calculator. So it's 1200. And you want to make sure that you can get these answers on a calculator by yourself, not just copy them down, because that's not going to do you any good. So the last one would be 506. That's 675, 506.25. Again, my handwriting, I've written on my iPad for a while, so the my handwriting isn't, it'll get better. Number 8. So this one it's not arithmetic, which is the 6. It's not like number 7, which is geometric. This one here is just a sequence. So, but the first term is still the first term, which is 1. F of 1 is 1. And then I need to take the previous term and then multiply by 2 times 3. Why is it 2 times 3? Because it's first term. Let me change the color here. First term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term. These are all the n's. So n is 1 is the first term, right? N is 2, n is 3, n is 4, n is 5. Those are like our stepping stones to get us across the creek. So 2 times the 3 would be 6 plus the previous term. So that would be 7. Let me go back to green again. 7. And then we're going to multiply 3. The 3 goes in there. So that'd be 9 plus the previous term would be 16. Now 4 goes in there. 4 times 3 is 12 plus the previous term would be 28. So that's 28. Now the 5 goes in for n, so that would be 15 plus the previous term. 15 and 28 are 43. So it's 1, 7, 16, 28, 43, which is not arithmetic or geometric. But you can generate the sequence with this equation, previous term plus 3 times the term number. Okay, arithmetic sequence. We've seen this before. When you graph it out, it always makes a line. You don't have to yell line. I just did. Number 10. First term, and we're supposed to say, okay, the first term is 8, and we have 3 times the number, n is greater than 2. And I want to know when n is 75. So n is equal to 75. So I know the first term. How am I going to get to the 7th term? Well, I would have to keep multiplying by 3 over and over again. But what do you really need to know? You need to know the previous term, right? So if you're going to find the 75th term, you would need to know f of 74. So you would need to know that, whoops, I just erased it. I guess I'll go back and erase it. When I touched it, it changed it to the eraser. So f of 74, I need to know f of 74, right? Which represents the previous term. This is the previous term. So what do I need to know? F of 74, which is the previous term. And that takes care of the video.